know that there were other teams that maybe were interested in you? Did anyone kind of reach out and kind of give you a hint of maybe they were interested in signing you?
Honestly, my number one goal was to stay here and play here. A lot of that other stuff was background noise for me. So my main goal was to find a way to be able to play here. So I didn't put too much thought into that, to be honest.
Hey Reilly, Cassie with the Las Vegas News Bureau. Would you have thought 6 years ago that Las Vegas would become your home the way it has today? And what does this community mean to you now?
I really didn't think that, I was going to be here long term. I'd played on 3 different teams in a span of about 5 years. I rented my house, I got a rental house here the first couple of years because I wasn't sure. And it seemed like year after year, I just felt more comfortable. The community has really embraced me and my family, and there was no doubt in my mind that this is where I wanted to play and, pretty much finish out my career here.
Did you buy the house that you were renting?
No, I didn't, but I think it was just a rental property. They weren't going to sell it to me, but it's just been such a great experience for me being able to play here for the last 5 years. I couldn't be happier. There's not too many words that I can say to really show how happy I am to be able to extend my career playing here and hopefully finish it here.
That moment buying that house, was that a special moment? Like you said, you had been kind of bouncing around. Was that the moment that you kind of realized, this is home now?
That's what I was hoping. I mean, I bought a house in Fort Lauderdale too, and I was traded 6 months later. So the business, it's super weird how that stuff happens. Part of me didn't want to buy a house here because I was nervous that it was going to give myself some bad juju, and it seemed like that was a trend that was following me around. But very fortunate that wasn't the case. And in the NHL, no matter how long your contract is, you're kind of on a yearly basis, so you always have to prove yourself, and I'm very excited to be able to do that.
When we talked the other day, you had mentioned to me that it was really important for you to become a pillar in the community, obviously with the charity softball game. How exciting is it for you now knowing you'll be able to continue to do what you've been doing off the field in this community?
I'm very excited about that. It's obviously a tough thing to do when you're not living in that city. I'm sure it's something that I'll probably try to continue no matter what. I really do feel like Vegas is home for me. So there's a community here that needs help, and I'm definitely willing to stand up and be part of that push. Hockey's a very important thing for myself and my family, but there's a lot of other things, and there's a lot of other people in this community who could use extra help. This organization has done a great job really standing up and doing that, and I hope to be a focal point of that going forward.
After you played in the playoffs 4 straight years, out of the chute, and you kind of going deep in the playoffs 3 out of 4 years, what was it like this particular year, just sitting home and watching round after round after round, and even some former Golden Knight players who were in action? Was it disorienting, or do you feel like there's a little heightened level of expectation going into the new season? What was the mindset?
Well, I feel like the expectation every year, no matter where we finish, has always been heightened. Definitely this off season or this playoffs, it was such a weird feeling. Usually, we always have a pretty deep run, and once we're done, I don't watch any hockey. I watched the last 2.5 months every single game that we played, and probably a bunch of other ones, and then it seemed like I watched every single playoff game as well. So I felt like I was a student of the game again, and I was trying to pick up so many different things where when you're in season, you're playing, you don't have that time to focus on all the other players and all the other teams in the league. So it's definitely a learning experience for me, something that I don't want to have to do again anytime soon. But like I said, the expectation here is high, and we want to be able to push for the Stanley Cup every single year, and we definitely have the roster to do that.
You mentioned you wanted to finish what you started 5 years ago. I guess how important was it to kind of finish what you started with John and Bill?
I love playing with those guys. They're two great people, two great players. Hopefully I'll have the opportunity to play with them a lot this upcoming season. They elevate my game, and I think I do that for them as well. So we're a good line, and we're tough to play against when we're all on the same page and playing quick, and hopefully we get that opportunity this year.
Have you spoken to Bruce at all about that?
Yeah, in short, I'm sure there's a lot of different changes that are still going to happen, and a lot of tweaks. So we'll see at training camp where all the chips lay, but with an 82-game season, things are going to get scrambled around a bunch of times, I'm sure.
Some of the Avalanche players mentioned that losing to you guys the second round like the season before was really used as fuel to motivate them and eventually win Stanley Cup. I'm wondering, after what you guys kind of struggle through with all the adversity, injuries and stuff, is there anything, do you think that this past season will give you, is there an extra kind of motivation to kind of a will to redeem this kind of really choppy season?
I mean, we made it to the finals, 2 conference finals, lost in the first round one year in a crazy scenario incident. I don't think we could have any more fuel than we've had over the last few years. You mentioned that last year was pretty crazy with all the injuries and games lost, but I think this group has been motivated since we lost in the finals, and I don't think that's going to change anytime soon.
We've asked guys this for feels like 5 years, but I guess now that you've signed this deal, can you look back and maybe how different your view of the city of Las Vegas is? You mentioned you weren't sure how long you were going to be here before you got here to now wanting to stay here for another 3 years.
As soon as that first year was done, I knew that this is where I wanted to play. So, I haven't changed that view at all since that year. First year, no one really knew what to expect, and it kind of just worked out in almost the perfect scenario. So, this is a great place to play. Everyone who I talk to around the league wants the opportunity to play here. They love playing here on the road. I think we have the greatest fan base in the NHL, and when things align like that, it's a pretty easy viewpoint to say, I want to stay here, I want to play here. I love the teammates here, I love the organization. They treat us with first class, and they make sure that our families feel the same way. So it's one of those destinations where really every player wants to play, so I'm very fortunate that they've extended me to really do that here.
You guys are going to go into next year without Max and Dylan. Just how difficult is it going to be to replace those 2 guys?
Yeah, the 2 guys who are really irreplaceable. I don't think you can just say anyone can just step in and fill someone else's shoes like that. You try to do that stuff by committee. We still have a lot of skill in our locker room, and everyone will have to chip in to fill that void.
You mentioned the first season, and you personally had an incredible year with your linemen, much so Carlson. I think your plus minus was through the roof for a line that year. What do you want to do to kind of get back to that? Because obviously the team's going to need some more goal scoring with Max.
Well, Carl had 43 the first year, so we're going to have to get him 44. I think that's our mindset right now. If I'm able to play with Jonathan and Carl, I think we have the ability to create so much offense, especially on the rush. So, just really focusing on bearing your chances, but then also playing with enough swagger and loose enough where you're able to jump on teams and be tenacious in that sense too.
What's your favorite thing about Las Vegas off the ice?
I've probably spent more time golfing than I would have thought I would have. I spent 2 years in Florida, and I probably picked up my clubs only a handful of times, and that's something that's changed.
You're going to win the softball game this time?
I can't go 0-3, so I'm sure that won't be a good headline. So, but realistically, we're super excited. It's I couldn't be more proud that it's the 3rd year that we're doing it, and we've raised so much money for families in need. So I'm just hoping that it all goes pretty smoothly. You know, change to a Monday night's a little bit of shocker for a lot of people, but super excited, and I can't thank the support of my teammates and the Raiders and everyone else who's put the event on.
Reilly, the Raiders got Marshawn Lynch to come play. You got a secret weapon that you're going to try to throw in there at the end?
I don't know. Gonna have to hide the Skittles maybe.
Anything else, Gus?
Right, I was asking about the kind of the business of sports. You mentioned how desirable Las Vegas is. Everybody wants to play here, but if a team wants to win the cup, they're pretty much up against the cap, spending all they can. But Grumman kind of talked about you got to be lucky along the way also. But losing, you know, a Fleury or a Pacioretty, guys that, you know, Schmidt and so forth, that you want to pay the guys, but you can't. So you got to make moves. I mean, you're here, and the other young guys are here because, you know, Pacioretty's not here. Just that business side and being up against the cap and how you lose friends when Fleury leaves and Pacioretty leaves. Can you kind of talk about that? How you got to be up against the cap, you got to swing for the fence, but maybe you don't hit the home run.
Yeah, I mean the cap era has really changed a lot of teams' outlooks, and you look at a team like Chicago this year. It seems like they're selling everything just to have a chance a few years down the line. And this is an organization that doesn't want to do that. We want to be able to compete every single year, but it's tough. You have to find different ways, and I think you mentioned that Kelly touched on that, where you kind of have to get lucky with certain draft picks that are later, or you know, guys who really have career years. It's tricky. You really need to find those key hidden gems and those pieces to come together at the right time. There's so much parity in the NHL where, you know, it's tough to win. Colorado's been a really good team for the last 4, 5, 6 years, and this has been their really only good shot. So the stars really have to align, and the salary cap makes that difficult.
Thanks, Reilly.
Thank you.
Thanks, Reilly. See you Monday.
Meeting.
Thanks, everybody. We've got obviously guys on the ice now.
Hotel, Casino, and Spa.